And the question becomes, how can that be the most efficient airport in the world, and we're telling people to get there 3 hours before their flight? We are going to operate without cash, without credit cards, with biometrics. We're getting rid of these cards that are getting stolen and misplaced. We're going to a future where your face is everything.
I have a great guest for you today. His name is John Selden. He was the deputy manager for JFK International Airport, and then he was the general manager for the world's busiest airport in Atlanta. The last 2 years, he was working in the desert in Saudi Arabia, in Neom on the western side of Saudi Arabia, developing a completely new concept for an airport, rethinking the entire thing. And I think that's going to sort of spell the way for the future of airports globally. And that's why I wanted to tap into his thinking today. We spoke for about an hour and a half, and I had to chop it into about 10 minutes. So what you're going to see now is the greatest hits.
You show up at the front door to the airport. Oh, Doug is there. Okay, great. We know he's going to gate 35 and his boarding time is in 32 minutes. So we know you're there. We know you've already signed up that you're going to check luggage because I'm going to make a little money because I'm an airline guy, right? So you're going to walk up to some machine. It's going to know that it's you, what flight you're on, what plane it's going to, and whether we put a bag tag on it or not. That's the next issue that I've seen coming, is biometrics for bags. In other words, your bag is not like any other bag in the world. It's similar to humans. Now, people will say, well, if I take 2 out of the box and I put them on the belt, we have seen demonstrations that no 2 bags are exactly alike.
Like with ballistics on a gun, like when they shoot a bullet, they can see the little markings.
Exactly. So why do I need to put a tag on it? Right now, I have it tied to your face. I put it on a belt. It goes down the chute. Maybe I'll check my bag at my house and have somebody pick it up, right? I can do that with bonded people, right? Or I can dump it at the train station and it'll go.
Okay, 1 second. Let me just backtrack 1 second, just so I can catch up with you. So I've logged in online when I've checked in online. They've got my passport photo or some other photo I've chosen to give them.
Yep.
It's in the system. It sees when I show up at the airport, I've walked in the front gate. It knows I'm in the airport, just kind of registers that I'm there and ready to go. I get to the little baggage drop. It just sees me. I put my bag there. It takes a picture of the bag and it knows it's my bag, and I walk off without a tag on the bag. I walk to my gate. I don't go through passport control. I don't go through any of that kind of security control. I walk all the way to the gate, even with my family who's dropping me off, who's not going anywhere. So they can follow me all the way to the gate.
And you're going to have a boarding time. You're going to have a boarding time. Why do people stand up 15 minutes before the plane board? And everybody is blocking the way in. And even though you're in zone 7, the first class people can't get through the crowd to get to the gate. We're going to fix that. We're going to say, and it's going to take time because we have to change the behavior of humans, right? Humans do one thing at airports that they don't do at train stations. Humans go to the gate. They gate hug. Just in case something happens.
Wait, what do you call that? Gate hooking?
Gate hugging.
Oh, so gate hugging.
If you go into gate hugging. So if you go into an airport and you will see these long concourses, restaurants they try to put in the middle, okay? If they put all the restaurants when you come up into the middle of it and you walk to the gate, you'll never go back and buy anything else. So what they're trying to do is sell you before you get down there, because once you get to your gate, you're going to get in that seat and you're going to just watch and who's getting on and who's cutting and all of these other things. So right now, if I could give you a reliable solution that says, Doug, there's doors. And based on your walking up to that door at 5:32, not 5:31, 5:32, that door will open and you can walk down the jet bridge with 6 other people.
Okay, so that's not until the jet bridge. All the way from when I walk in the front door of the airport till I get there, my family can come with me. We're all allowed in the airport to go shopping. Am I shopping with my face only and going to duty free with my face only? And am I going to the restaurants? So it's no credit cards, just my face to pay for everything that I've pre-registered to a credit card.
To a rental.
And then what happens what happens when I get to the jet bridge?
Now you're in the jet bridge. And in the jet bridge, we have walk-through security, walk-through immigration, whatever is going on. We're going to know you're leaving the country, okay, or wherever you're going, but we're going to screen you and your carry-on luggage.
So like the walls are the x-ray machine and you walk at your normal walking speed with your roll-on luggage and it x-rays your luggage and it x-rays you together. And then if you have something suspicious in your bag, the trap door opens and you fall down to the...
No. So you know the way the jet bridge is, there's part of the jet bridge is fixed that doesn't move, you know. So on the departure side, right before you get to the part that moves, that does this to hook up to the plane, there'll be a room, and there'll be TSA. Will be there, and they'll go, Doug, can you please step in here? Meanwhile, everybody is continuing to go. If they want to swab your bag for explosives, or you maybe have some fruit that you shouldn't be taking out of the country, whatever, they will take care of it there. When you go through screening today, how many bags do you see get pushed to the side? One every 30 or 40? But we're making everybody go through this line and all this stuff. So the CAT scan technology is already there. It's already exists. You can see it when you do this thing. You put your hands up and the machine goes, right? Well, that's standing still. There are manufacturers that have this where you can walk through it and they can see. So
The model has changed because we had to get there 2 or 3 hours in advance. They had a captive audience. Some went to lounges, other did luxurious shopping, and some did fast food shopping and as you call it, gate hugging.
Yeah.
And that may go bye-bye when
Bye-bye.
when this happens. I mean, with this new
Duty
technology.
free will exist.
Hmm.
Now, do I need a duty free store, or do I buy on the plane through a screen? That's already one of the airlines. I won't say who it is, but one of the airlines is already selling your duty free on the plane. You can pick your screen and get everything, and when you walk off the plane, it's there. In my opinion, duty free, you'll have the ticket. You'll be able to buy duty free. Probably once you get into the building Wi-Fi and that you've checked in for your flight, and it'll just get shipped to your house. I don't want to carry it.
I see
don't
the
want to.
advantage. Yeah, no, I see the advantage in some ways. Of course, for the passengers, this is going to be a
Yeah.
much smoother thing. Our friends can come say goodbye right at the gate. We don't have any waiting around. It's a much more efficient use of our time. A lot of airports, what are I mean, you would know the data. What are the high-end airports? What are they selling on average per passenger in their shopping
So
when you're on the departures?
yeah, on departures, you're looking at a good airport will sell somewhere, not a crazy airport, but a good airport will sell about $15 to $20 per
On average.
departure, on average.
What is the top end? What are they hitting?
um, Probably up around 30 to 40, but that's really high. I mean,
Okay.
that's really, really high.
And a lot of these places say, hey, people really love to come and hang out at the airport. But you pointed out an interesting piece of data. Once people grab their luggage and can take off from the airport, what's the spend from that point, from the arrivals?
2 cents, 2 pennies.
So they don't really love hanging around the airport.
Well, and Doug, I say this all the time. Nobody goes to an airport to stay. Everybody goes to leave as fast as they can. And if you can condense that time, think about, you say to yourself, you know what? I want to go to Chicago today, but I don't want to get to the airport 3 hours early. It's an hour from New York to it. It's an hour and 15 minutes. If I can show up 15 minutes before my flight, get on the plane, get there, walk off, then when I come back, I go through the same experience. Travel will become so much better and so much faster. Airlines will have less turnaround time. On
Right.
the other way, we put customs and immigration on the other side of the arrival, on the arrival side, with a room right before you come off the jet bridge, the fixed jet bridge. So
Okay, so it's all on the
you.
jet bridge. It
Everything
works
is
in
on
reverse.
Works in reverse. So
Interesting.
on the departure side, they'll grab you before you get onto the movable jet bridge, and on the arrival side, they'll grab you before you walk out the jet bridge, the door to the terminal or the store or whatever you're getting into. Is this going to change overnight? No. It's going to take a while to get this. There's still going to be people that want a paper boarding pass and all of these other things.
But
But
a lot fewer people working at the airport. I mean, this is a
oh,
jobs reduction initiative in some
is a
ways.
profitability because you're
Ah,
changing the business model, right? You're
right,
taking away all of this, what we call non-aeronautical revenue, except
right,
maybe parking, bag delivery, or bag pickup at my house, and then some form of some restaurant and maybe duty free. Those are the generators, but I have to make my airline, I have to make my airport more efficient. I have to make my airlines be able to make some money. So the
right.
way I do that is I'm enabling them to turn the airplane faster because I don't have these crowds and it doesn't take all this time to board. I got to be
Right.
able
So
to.
let's say so the airlines love it because there's fewer staff doing check-in.
Mhm.
For the airport, it's fewer personnel doing customs control and all that. So, and for the stores, they can get more people in the airport to come say goodbye and greet people inside the airport where the stores and the restaurants are. Uh, the lounges may not love it. It's clear
Well,
will hate it.
lounge, no,
But I'm just
lounges
thinking
are,
like,
but lounges are an expense for the airline.
true.
So it's less of an expense. But you just said something um, very important. Airports have huge capital infrastructure.
Right.
I don't need all that. I can take an airport like Atlanta that has 110 million passengers in it, and if I don't have all this check-in counter and all this other stuff, I don't need it. I wouldn't build it. I would build a totally different looking airport,
Right.
right? So it
Yep.
would be much cheaper for me to build or renovate and shrink the footprint of that. Less power, less water, less air conditioning, less heat,
Right.
all of that into a better, more efficient structure for the airport. So if I reduce the capital costs, reduce the operating costs, even though I'm making less revenue, I'm
Right.
providing a great service for my customers and my airlines, and I want to grow that business.
So in Europe, when people got less religious here, they started turning the churches into schools, bowling alleys, cafes, private homes, and so forth. If you kind of cut down in space and getting rid of all these, chunks of furniture from an airline, the check-in desk, do you see that? What do you see that becoming? Is that going to become a spa, like mini golf, like
Well, I think you could, I think in the Middle East they're going to put some skiing, artificial snow skiing into one of the terminals. It's going to be,
really? You're
yeah,
not
yeah,
really?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
They're,
2
we're,
minutes
we're thinking
and
about,
tackle
they're
that.
thinking about it.